welcome back to the new Barbarians podcast. My name's Chris Rosa, producer and digital asset analyst here on the channel. Today we're really excited to release our second AI agent episode. I recently wrote a paper on the Ethereum blockchain, and it was a very dense and technical article. We used Notebook LM to disseminate the paper and produce a podcast with two AI agents that are discussing the paper to make it a little bit more accessible to the general audience. The paper takes a deep dive into Ethereum ecosystem. It takes a look at its decision to scale through its L2s rather than through its base chain, and it also takes a look at competing L1s like Solana and Sui. We lastly look into the future of this smart contract ecosystem. Who's going to continue to dominate? Will Solana, or will the tokenization of real-world assets and stablecoins drive Ethereum to be the main player going forward? We hope you guys get a lot out of this episode. And if this isn't your cup of tea, we'll catch you on the next episode. We have some awesome guests coming up. Thanks so much.
All right, so anyone listening is probably looking to really understand Ethereum and where it fits into the future of all this blockchain stuff, right? The future of finance.
Yeah, and to get there, you really went all in on the research. We've got, like a whole stack of reports.
Market analyses, expert opinions, you name it.
Wow, really digging deep.
Yeah, so we're calling this a deep dive, right?
Yeah.
We're going to unpack all this.
It seems like a lot of your sources are really focused on Ethereum's scaling strategy.
Right, like how's that playing out?
With all these new layer 1 blockchains popping up and like the explosion of layer 2 solutions.
Yeah, you said it. Feels like every week there's another contender trying to come for Ethereum's crown.
Right.
So the big question we're going to tackle in this deep dive is Ethereum still king?
Like the bedrock of that decentralized future.
Yeah. Or are we headed towards something else like
a multi-chain world.
Exactly.
Interesting. Well, I think to really understand where Ethereum's going, it helps to look back a bit.
Right where it came from.
Like, it's had a journey since launching back in, 2015?
Yeah, long way from where it started.
It definitely didn't start out as the DeFi powerhouse we know today.
Not at all.
I mean, from the get-go, Ethereum's creators, they had a very different vision than, say, Bitcoin.
Right.
They weren't just aiming for, digital gold.
Yeah.
They wanted to build a platform for decentralized applications. A platform.
Something truly groundbreaking.
Totally groundbreaking. Like, imagine the world's computer.
Wow.
But powered by blockchain.
That's a pretty bold vision.
Yeah.
And that focus on technology, not just being another cryptocurrency. It's really shaped its path, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, I think that's a big part of its story.
And, that ambition has also led to some challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Like scaling.
Scaling.
That's been one of the biggest hurdles as more people started using Ethereum, transaction fees, gas fees went way up.
Yeah, remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to do anything on Ethereum was like
Expensive.
paying a toll just to get on the highway.
It was. And there were a lot of voices saying, just increase capacity,
Just make the highway bigger.
Exactly. But, the creators always worried that could compromise its decentralization and security.
The core of it, yeah.
The very things that make it so powerful.
Right.
So instead of just cranking it up, they chose to go with this, what's it called? A roll-up centric model.
Roll-up centric. Yeah. Okay, now for those of us who aren't blockchain wizards, what does that actually mean?
Okay, so imagine Ethereum is like a busy highway, right?
Yeah, okay.
The roll-up centric model is basically adding express lanes.
Oh, interesting.
Taking some of the traffic off the main road, making it faster and smoother for everyone.
Okay.
Those express lanes are basically your layer 2 solutions.
Oh.
They handle a lot of the transactions off-chain, but they still rely on Ethereum's main network for security.
So they get the benefit of Ethereum.
Exactly. It's like having your cake and eating it, too.
You get the scalability without giving up the decentralization and security.
Exactly. And Ethereum's been making some upgrades, too.
Like what?
Like Denkun, which was a big one.
Okay.
It introduced these things called blobs.
Blobs.
Blobs. Yeah, they're kind of like extra storage space,
Oh.
Helps Ethereum process more transactions.
Without getting clogged up.
Exactly. So faster transactions, lower fees.
So that's good news for anyone who's used to paying those crazy gas fees.
Yeah.
Good news.
But while Ethereum's been busy evolving, the competition hasn't exactly stood still.
Yeah, a lot of other players have come into the picture.
Right, like a whole ecosystem of layer 2 solutions.
Right.
Each with their own approach to scaling.
Yeah, Arbitrum, Polygon Base, optimism.
Optimism, ZK
The
sync.
list goes on and on and on.
It really does.
It really does.
And then you've got alternative layer 1 blockchains,
like
Solana, Near, TON,
all trying to come after Ethereum with
their own vision.
their own thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's not forget Solana, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's making a lot of noise lately.
They're the new kid on the block.
Yeah, the one to watch.
And Solana has definitely seen this massive surge in activity.
For sure.
But it's worth noting that a lot of it is driven by meme coins.
Ah, the good old days of digital apes and pixelated punks.
Exactly. Much like what we saw with Ethereum during the NFT boom.
Yeah, lots of attention, lots of hype. But is it?
The most reliable indicator of long-term success? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So for this deep dive, we're going to focus more on
The mental.
yeah, the tech, the adoption, the real world uses.
The meat and potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to determine which of these blockchains, stick around for
Right.
the long haul.
So just to recap,
Yeah.
you've got Ethereum, the OG,
Yeah.
trying to scale up, right,
Try to scale up without losing its
without losing its soul,
its roots.
its roots.
And then you've got its layer 2 offspring, all vying for position.
Right.
And then these ambitious layer 1s, like Solana, trying to carve out their own space.
It's a real blockchain battle royale.
It is. And to figure out who's actually winning,
We've got to look at the data.
we got to dive in. Market cap,
User activity, transaction volume,
developer engagement, and all that.
all the things that tell us what's really happening.
Yeah, what's happening on the ground.
Yeah.
So where do we begin?
Well, let's start with adoption and utility.
Okay.
Who's using these blockchains and what are they doing with them?
All right, let's see who's attracting the crowds.
Okay, so the most classic metric market capitalization.
Market cap.
This gives us a sense of the overall value of a blockchain.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. Ethereum is still the champ. No surprise there.
No surprise.
Sitting pretty at $377.6 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. Solana's behind at $88.7 billion, which
Nice.
is still a lot, but you can see the gap.
Yeah, still big gap.
Yeah, we also see some familiar names. BNB Chain, Polygon, doing pretty well,
Okay.
reflecting their strength in DeFi and gaming, which makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Okay, so Ethereum has the biggest market cap, but
But what about the users?
users, right. That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
When we look at monthly active addresses, or MAA, Solana actually takes the lead here,
Really?
big time. They boast a mind-blowing 127 million MAA.
127 million.
That's a lot of users.
It is. That
Yeah.
dwarfs everyone else, even Ethereum.
Yeah, this really suggests a potential shift in the landscape.
So is that where all the action is right now?
It seems like it. Solana is grabbing a ton of attention, but, a big user base doesn't always translate to long-term value.
Yeah, that's true.
We saw that with the meme coin craze driving a lot of activity, but
Right, it's not always the best.
not always the best measure.
Yeah, so then how do we gauge what blockchain is really holding the most value?
Good question. That's where total value locked, or TVL, comes in.
TVL.
This basically tells us how much capital is locked within a blockchain's DeFi ecosystem.
Okay,
Basically, how much money is being put to work.
got it.
And
Yeah.
again, Ethereum's still the king here. TVL of $62.3 billion.
So even with all those users, Solana isn't quite matching Ethereum in terms of real, financial activity.
Not yet. Their TVL is growing, though, currently at $8.3 billion.
Okay,
But still some catching up to do.
yeah.
But here's an interesting twist. We're seeing some pretty impressive growth in the TVL of Ethereum's Layer 2 solutions.
Oh, so it's not a
Bruh.
zero-sum game.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Like as Ethereum grows.
It's almost like a rising tide lifting all boats.
Yeah.
Both Ethereum and Solana are carving their own path, I think.
Okay,
It's too early to say who's going to win the whole game.
right.
But to really get a sense of which blockchain is set up for the long run, we have to talk about profitability.
All right, let's talk money.
Yeah.
How much are these blockchains making?
Okay, well, in terms of fees, you know what? Ethereum's still raking it in.
Yeah, I bet.
Generating $39.8 million in fees just this past week.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a reflection of the high demand and the incentives for Network Validator.
So even with those annoying gas fees, people are still happy to use Ethereum.
They are. It shows you the power of its security and the trust it's built.
Yeah.
Now, Solana is catching up, though.
Okay.
Its fees are way lower than Ethereum's.
Right. That makes sense given their focus on those low-cost transactions.
Yeah, but the thing is, even though Solana's fees are lower per transaction,
Yeah.
the volume is huge on their network.
Oh, so it's a volume game.
A volume game.
Exactly.
What about the layer 2 solutions? Are they bringing in the cash too?
Well, not really. L2s like Arbitrum and Optimism, they actually generate minimal fees,
Okay.
but that's by design, right?
Right.
They're all about cheaper, faster transactions.
Yeah.
So their focus is on growing the overall pie.
Okay. Which ultimately benefits...
Which ultimately benefits Ethereum.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So fees are one thing, but what about overall revenue? Who's really bringing in the big bucks?
Well, Ethereum's the heavyweight champ when it comes to revenue.
Yeah, I bet.
It's pulling in $31.4 million per week.
Yeah, all thanks to those fees and that constant hum of activity on its network.
So even with that dip in market share of fees that we talked about, Ethereum's still the most profitable blockchain out there.
Yeah, dipping below 50% for the first time. But yeah, it's still the most profitable.
Interesting. So that dip in market share, is that a sign that things are getting a little more...
Competitive?
Yeah, competitive.
It could be. It could be a sign that users are branching out, or maybe it's just the market growing.
Right.
But to really understand what this all means, we need to shift our focus.
Okay, where to?
To the developers.
Oh, the developers.
Yeah.
Right, because they're the ones building the future.
Are building the future.
Of these blockchains.
Of this whole space, yeah. And this is where we see a possible change in the momentum.
Okay.
So Ethereum has always been like a magnet for developers.
Right.
But its weekly developer count has actually gone down a bit recently.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and at the same time, Solana has surged ahead.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. It's now the platform with the most active developers.
Hey guys, if you got anything out of that last segment, we'd really appreciate it if you would take a second to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. It really helps us grow the channel and bring this content to a broader audience. Thanks so much.
Wow, so developers are choosing Solana over Ethereum. Is this the beginning of the end for the OG?
It's hard to say.
Really?
It could be that developers are really into Solana's speed, the low costs, and that, the excitement around meme coins. Or maybe some of Ethereum's development focus has shifted.
Oh, where to?
To its layer 2 ecosystem.
So maybe those Ethereum developers aren't abandoning ship, they're just...
setting sail for new horizons?
Yeah, L2 horizons.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
And if you look at core commits, which tell us how much the core protocol is being developed, Ethereum is stable, which is good.
Yeah.
But Solana has exploded.
So Solana's really pushing their development hard.
Yeah, aggressively.
Yeah.
While Ethereum is in this mature phase.
Right.
Makes sense.
Okay, so the developer landscape is kind of, it's a little bit mixed.
It is.
But what about actual activity? What about the transactions?
Yeah, which blockchain is moving the most? Well, when we look at stablecoin transfers, USDC or Tether are moving across different blockchains.
Right.
Solana's the winner.
Right.
They're processing a much higher volume than Ethereum.
Interesting. So Solana's the way to go for fast, cheap stablecoin transfers?
It seems like it, but we are seeing some pretty big growth here for Ethereum's layer 2s, though.
Oh, okay.
Especially Base.
Base, right. That's the one from Coinbase.
Yeah, it's becoming a major payments hub.
So even though Ethereum's layer 1 might be losing a bit of ground, its L2s are picking up the slack.
It's like a tag team match.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Ethereum's roll-up-centric strategy seems to be working, especially with Base taking on more transactions. Okay, so let's talk about decentralized exchanges. DXs for short.
FedExes.
These are platforms where you can trade crypto without a centralized intermediary, so like no middleman.
So who's winning the DX battle?
Well, this one's really interesting. After a bit of a slump, Solana's seen a huge jump in DX trading volume. Yeah, it's actually rivaling and maybe even passing Ethereum at times.
Wow, Solana's become the new DX darling.
You could say that it's definitely attracting a lot of traders.
Why is that?
Probably because of the speed and the low fees.
Makes sense.
Ideal for high-frequency trading,
Yeah.
But it's not just Solana. Ethereum's Layer 2 solutions are also taking a bigger slice of the DX volume.
Okay, so it's not just a two-horse race then?
No, it's a crowded field, very competitive.
A lot going on.
Yeah, and definitely something to watch as DeFi continues to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before we get too far down the rabbit hole here,
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful to zoom out a little bit and try to connect these observations back to, like, the big picture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What are some of the broader insights from the research you've been looking at?
Well, one of the key takeaways here is that Ethereum, the big guy, is facing some serious competition.
Yeah, that's clear.
It's clear that Solana has a lot of momentum, speed, low costs. That's appealing to a lot of investors, especially those into meme coins.
Right. And then there's Base, the L2 built by Coinbase.
Right.
It's a great example of how you can build on Ethereum security.
And still achieve that impressive growth.
Yeah, and attract those real-world use cases.
Exactly. It's almost as if Ethereum is becoming the Microsoft of Web3,
Mm-hmm.
a reliable, solid foundation.
The bedrock.
The bedrock.
Yeah.
Well, Solana is that flashy new thing that's grabbing all the headlines.
Yeah, it's like the new iPhone or something.
Exactly.
So what does Ethereum have to do to get some of that spotlight back?
I think they need a catalyst.
A catalyst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something that really reignites the excitement, brings back that innovation they were known for.
Like what? What could that be?
I don't know, maybe a major traditional finance institution following Coinbase's lead,
Okay.
launching their own layer 2 on Ethereum.
Oh, okay.
That would be a game changer.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ethereum's got its challenges, but still a ton of potential.
Yeah.
For sure. So where's all of this heading?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Are we headed to a multi-chain world where different blockchains kind of specialize?
Specialize in different things?
Yeah. Or will Ethereum figure out a way to reclaim its dominance?
Will it become that one-stop shop for DeFi?
Yeah, I think we need to look closer at traditional finance and the blockchain to really answer that.
That's what we're going to explore in the next part of this deep dive.
Yeah. Maybe that'll give us a clearer picture of the future.
All right, so next up, we're going to be diving into...
Traditional finance on the blockchain.
Let's see what that's all about. So we were just talking about all the competition Ethereum's facing.
Yeah, all those rivals.
But even with all that, there's this idea that Ethereum might actually be getting even stronger in the world of finance.
Stronger, yeah, more entrenched, I'd say.
Okay, so I thought we were saying that Solana was, stealing the show.
With its speed and all that, yeah.
Right, with its speed and low cost.
I think we're talking about two different things here. Solana is all about performance.
Okay.
But Ethereum is setting itself up as the foundation for traditional finance.
TradFi, right?
TradFi, exactly.
Okay, so Ethereum's playing the long game here.
They're going for the big institutions.
Trying to become like the bedrock for all these huge financial players.
Exactly. And there are a couple of reasons why Ethereum is so attractive to these guys.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, it's all about trust,
Trust, yeah.
and infrastructure.
Right, we're talking about these organizations that manage trillions of dollars.
Trillions, exactly. They need a blockchain they can rely on, something secure, battle-tested,
Reliable.
with a proven track record.
Right, they're not going to gamble with unproven tech.
No way, not when they're dealing with that kind of money.
They can't afford to mess around.
Nope, and that's where Ethereum really shines, right?
Okay.
It's been around, it's got this huge developer community,
Okay.
and most importantly, it's already home to stablecoins.
Right, the stablecoin king.
The king, exactly. And that's a huge draw for these institutions
Why is that?
because stablecoins give them a way to move value on the blockchain without all the volatility.
Right, like they can avoid the ups and downs of Bitcoin.
Exactly. It's like having digital cash that's always pegged to the US dollar.
Oh, okay, so it's stable.
Stable, reliable, that's what they need.
Makes sense. So stablecoins are the bridge, right?
The bridge to TradFi, yeah.
But what about the actual financial stuff? Like, how are they putting things like bonds and treasuries onto the blockchain?
That's where tokenization comes in.
Tokenization.
Yeah, remember that chart we looked at?
One showing the tokenized U.S. treasuries exploding.
Exploding, yeah. And Ethereum's the dominant platform for that.
Yeah, it was practically all Ethereum, right? Barely anything on other chains.
Exactly. And it's because Ethereum has that security,
Right.
the liquidity, the infrastructure that these big players want.
They need that.
And then you've got projects like BlackRock's BUIDL fund.
The one we talked about?
Yeah. They chose Ethereum to tokenize billions of dollars.
Okay, so that's a big signal
It's a huge signal
to everyone else that,
that Ethereum's the place to be.
okay, so Ethereum has the trust, the infrastructure, the stable coins. It's all there.
It's all there.
But why are these TradFi giants so keen to move their assets onto the blockchain in the first place? Like, what's in it for them?
Well, there are a few big advantages.
Like what?
First, efficiency.
Okay.
By tokenizing assets, they can automate a lot of stuff that's currently done manually.
Which is time consuming.
Yeah, and prone to errors.
So tokenization speeds things up.
Yeah, faster settlements, lower costs, fewer mistakes.
That sounds pretty good for everyone.
It is, especially when you're dealing with huge volumes of transactions.
Right.
Then there's the transparency, the security that the blockchain brings.
Right, because everything's recorded on the blockchain.
Immutably.
Yeah.
Can't be changed.
Exactly. So it's way harder to manipulate or commit fraud, which is a big deal for TradFi.
They hate risk.
They hate risk.
They want to minimize that.
Absolutely. Right. And blockchain's all about trust and transparency.
It's built on that.
Okay, so efficiency, transparency, what else?
And then there's the potential for innovation.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Think fractional ownership.
Okay.
Access to new markets, programmable finance.
Programmable finance. Now, that sounds interesting.
You can create new financial instruments.
So,
Automate complex transactions, even program specific conditions into those transactions, like self-executing contracts.
so we're not just talking about putting the old financial system on the blockchain.
No.
It's about building something totally new,
Exactly. Something more efficient.
more innovative.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Ethereum is winning this race to become the foundation for this new system. But
Right.
what about those other players, the ones we talked about earlier, like Solana and Sui,
The high-performance chains, yeah.
the speed demons?
They're not going to just disappear.
Right. They're all about speed and low costs.
They're positioning themselves as the platforms for, like, high-velocity finance.
High velocity. Okay.
Things that need to happen super fast, with low fees.
So like high frequency trading, things like that.
Exactly. They're trying to, like, replicate the NASDAQ queue.
Wow. So they're kind of like the Formula One cars of the blockchain world.
That's a great analogy. All about speed, efficiency, low latency.
Okay. So we've got Ethereum as the workhorse.
The reliable one.
Yeah. And then these speed demons, each finding their own space.
Yeah, I think that's the future, actually.
Really?
A multi-chain future.
Where different blockchains focus on different things.
Exactly, but the key is interoperability.
Interoperability.
Yeah, these blockchains need to be able to communicate,
Share data.
share data, move assets between them seamlessly.
So it's not just about picking a winner.
It's about the bigger picture.
Yeah, how everything works together.
Yeah, to build this new financial ecosystem.
Okay. I like that.
It's exciting.
Hey guys, if you got anything out of that last segment, please share with a friend, comment, subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel. Thanks.
It is exciting.
A new financial paradigm, and it's still early days.
It feels like the Wild West out there.
It does.
Yeah.
But, amidst all the excitement, we have to stay grounded.
Don't get caught up in the hype.
Exactly. We've seen how quickly things can change.
Yeah, what's hot today?
Could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true.
So we need to look beyond the hype, understand the tech, and focus on those long-term trends.
Words of wisdom. So where do we go from here? What should we be watching as this whole TradFi on the blockchain thing unfolds?
Well, regulation is a big one.
Okay.
How are regulators going to respond to all of this?
Right. Will they embrace it or will they try to, shut it down?
Exactly. That's going to have a huge impact on how this space develops.
Regulation's a big one. What else?
Adoption is another key factor.
Okay.
Will these big institutions really go all in on blockchain?
Or will they just kind of dip their toes in and then back out?
Exactly. And the success of projects like BlackRock's BUIDL fund, that's going to be a good indicator.
Yeah, they'll tell us a lot.
And then we have to keep an eye on those high-performance chains, Solana, Sui.
The speed demons.
Yeah, can they really attract enough liquidity, enough institutional interest to challenge Ethereum?
That's a big question.
Right now, it's mostly retail investors and high-frequency traders on those platforms.
Okay.
To compete with Ethereum, they need to win over the big players.
Got it. So regulation, adoption, and the competition between Ethereum and these high-performance chains.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to the watch list?
One more thing.
Okay, I'm listening.
We need to watch how new financial instruments are being developed.
Oh, specifically for the blockchain?
Yeah, like we're already seeing cool stuff in decentralized lending and borrowing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Decentralized insurance even.
Okay.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Really?
Yeah, as more people get involved, we're going to see a wave of new products and services.
That could completely change the game.
Exactly. And that brings us back to that big question.
The multi-chain future versus Ethereum's dominance.
Yeah, are we going to see a bunch of different blockchains specializing in different things?
Or will Ethereum solidify its position as the one-stop shop for DeFi?
Tough to say.
Yeah, it feels like we're at a crossroads here.
We are, and it's important for everyone listening to understand what's going on.
Okay, so what are some key takeaways they should walk away with from this deep dive so far?
First, Ethereum is still a major force, but it's facing serious competition, especially from those high-performance chains.
Solana and Sui.
Yeah. Second, blockchain is already changing how traditional finance works, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, and while there are still a lot of unknowns,
There are always unknowns.
the potential is huge.
The potential is massive.
It's a really exciting time.
It is, but with all the excitement, we need to stay cautious.
Do your research. Don't get carried away.
Exactly. Never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Good advice.
This is still a new and evolving space.
But things change fast.
Yeah. And there are always risks.
Right. So to wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
let's leave our listeners with a question to ponder. Will Ethereum hold on to its crown as the king of blockchain finance?
Or will we see this multi-chain future unfold?
And what would it take for Ethereum to recapture all that hype that Solana's enjoying right now?
Big questions.
Big questions, yeah.
Those are the questions that are shaping the future of finance, and the answers, well,
It's still being written.
exactly. Hopefully this deep dive has given everyone some food for thought.
Some insights to help navigate this crazy world.
Yeah, it's a wild ride,
It is.
but it's exciting.
All right, so for our final segment,
Yeah,
let's get even bolder.
bolder.
Let's make some predictions about the future of blockchain and finance. All right, so we've explored how Ethereum's trying to evolve
Yeah, to handle all that traditional finance stuff.
and how those high-performance chains are aiming for their own piece of the pie.
Lots of ground covered.
Scaling solutions, stablecoins.
Tokenized assets, those new layer ones.
It's crazy how fast this space is changing.
Mhm.
And how much is at stake
It really is mind-blowing. We're literally seeing a new financial system being born.
right in front of us.
Yeah. It's exciting to watch it all unfold.
It is.
But,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's still early days, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're bound to hit some bumps along the way.
Some twists and turns, some surprises.
Definitely.
Okay, so thinking about that, what are some bold predictions you have for the future? Let's have a little fun with this. Gaze into the crystal ball.
All right, I'll play along. I predict that within the next 5 years,
Okay, 5 years.
we'll see at least one major global bank launch its own blockchain platform
Wow.
or partner with an existing layer one
To do what?
to offer tokenized securities directly to their customers.
Really? So,
Mhm.
like, you could buy tokenized stocks or bonds from your bank.
Exactly. I think it's only a matter of time.
Okay.
These big institutions, they're already testing the waters.
They see the potential.
They see it, yeah. They can't ignore it, especially as their competitors start jumping in.
Okay, so prediction number 1.
Global bank goes blockchain.
I like it. What else you got?
Okay, prediction number 2. Within the next decade, I think a big chunk of global trade finance
Global trade. Okay.
will be on the blockchain.
Trillions of dollars moving away from those old paper-based systems.
Yeah, all those slow, clunky processes.
Onto something faster,
More efficient.
more transparent.
Yeah, exactly.
Blockchain seems perfect for that.
It is.
Supply chain, trade finance.
Streamlines everything.
Yeah, reduces cost. Everyone can see what's going on.
And we're already seeing some early signs of this happening.
We are.
Yeah, companies are starting to realize the benefits.
So you think this is going to happen pretty fast?
I do.
Okay.
All right, ready for prediction number 3.
Hit me with it.
I predict the emergence of entirely new asset classes.
New asset classes.
Yeah, things that only exist on the blockchain.
Like what? Give me an example.
Tokenized carbon credits.
Tokenized carbon credits. Okay.
Data ownership rights.
Okay, that's interesting.
Or even like fractional ownership of virtual real estate in the metaverse.
Whoa, now that's futuristic. Tokenized carbon credits, virtual land.
It sounds crazy.
It does.
But that's the thing about blockchain.
What is it?
It changes everything.
Yeah.
We can create and trade value in ways we never could before.
It's like a whole new world out there.
It is a new paradigm,
And we're just getting started.
barely scratching the surface.
So you're saying that in the future, I could be buying virtual real estate
Alongside your stocks and bonds.
alongside my Apple stock.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It might sound wild,
It does.
but remember, the internet was once this niche thing that nobody understood.
Right.
And now look at it.
It's everything.
Exactly. I think blockchain is headed in the same direction.
From weird and confusing to
Just part of everyday life.
like using a smartphone.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are some bold predictions.
I hope my crystal ball is working.
Let's hope so. But one thing's for sure,
What's that?
the future of finance is going to be different, that's for sure.
Very different.
And blockchain's going to be right at the center of it all.
Abs.
And it seems like Ethereum is in a pretty good spot to lead the way.
It does, but like we talked about, it's not a winner-take-all situation.
Right.
There's room for multiple blockchains to thrive, each with their own strengths, you know?
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I'd say this. The blockchain revolution is happening. It's changing finance as we speak.
It's not coming. It's here.
It's here. Now is the time to learn, to explore, to decide how you want to be a part of it.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
It's an exciting time to be involved.
it is.
But remember, be careful out there.
Do your research. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
This is still a new space. Things can change quickly.
Risks are involved, but the potential is huge.
That's a great point.
Don't let fear stop you from exploring the possibilities of this technology.
Yeah, the future of finance is being built right now.
So stay curious, stay informed, and stay ahead of the game.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be one of the people shaping that future.
That's the dream.
It is. It really is.
Well, this has been fun.
It has. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive into Ethereum and the future of finance.
My pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed it
And learned a lot.
and learned a lot for sure.
Until next time.
See you later.